Good morning, students. The energy is low. Good morning, students. Can we do that once more? Good morning, everybody. That's the energy. That's the energy. Thank you so much. It is such an honor to be with all of you kids. I'm so humbled to be a part of this. Thank you to the school management. Thank you to all the teachers and you students for showing up. It is such an honor to see the performances, to see the way each of you are showcasing your talents. I am inspired by all of you. So let me just begin this session by asking you a question. Have you ever seen an ant? How many of you have seen an ant? Okay, all of us have seen an ant. How tiny is an ant? It's so small, right? It's really, really small. Do you think ants carry significance? Do they do anything for us? Yes? What do they do? They carry food, okay? Sorry? They carry sticks, okay? They do a lot of things, right? Ants are the tiniest creatures that we can ever see with our human eyes, right? So let me just introduce myself again. I am Emmanuel Edwin. I work in the creative space. I work as a media person, so I take pictures, I create graphic designs, I make films, and I do many other things. I started my journey as a tiny ant, and then I set up a company, I did a lot of big things, and now I'm back to being a little ant, because our journey can take us to big places, but at the end of the day, when we come back, when we sit by ourselves, when we become tiny as an ant, we realize how small we are as a person. But one of the facts that one of your friends shared was ants carry 10 to 50 times their own weight. So sometimes while being tiny, we can become bigger persons. So today's session is about a journey of self-discovery. How many of you know who you are? Oh, who are you? You're Aiden. Okay. Aiden. Caden. Okay, sorry. Wow. Caden knows that he's Caden. Can I ask you, sir, who are you? Okay, sir feels that he is a human being, okay? Okay, I see a hand raised. Tell me. You are a thought generator. Oh, you're God's creation. Oh wow, that is an amazing answer. We are God's creation. We are human beings. We are friends. We are family. We are students. We are so many things, right? Like I carry a lot of titles behind my name, but at the end of the day, it is as a person, right? We are students, some of us are leaders, some of us are teachers. We have titles that add on to what we do. But at the end of the day, we need to know who we are as a person. Now let's look at how ants move, okay? So ants, when they move, they secrete chemical called pheromone. Okay, how many of you know this chemical? How many of you have heard of it? I see the bigger classes know about it. So it is a scent. It is a chemical that leaves a scent, okay, for other ants to follow. Okay, so let's say an ant wants to go from here to here. Okay, so for an ant to go from here to there, it starts its journey from home. Okay, it starts its journey from home. It starts walking, and then it reaches here, right? But do you think an ant goes straight? No? Okay, sometimes the ant will go like this, right? It goes different paths. Now when one ant takes a path, how many other ants follow? A lot of ants. Then so many other ants start following. Right? So, the first ant in our life are the teachers who are a part of our lives. They are the ones who have taken that step. They have reached a certain destination. Okay? So, once our teachers have reached, we follow them. Right? How many of you follow your teachers? How many of you listen to your teachers? We all listen to our teachers. Amazing. Okay. So our journey starts from home, that is your school at the moment, and then it ends at a certain point, that is when you grow up. Okay? So ants follow a certain path. That's the same way we follow a certain path. We don't go in a straight line, we always move in different directions. Right? When you come to school, do you walk in a straight line? No, right? You have to jump, you have to run sometimes, you have to cross the road. Isn't it? Yeah. That's the same thing with our life. When we need to go from point A to point B, we need to take certain detours. Okay? If you see a sonogram, a heartbeat looks like this. It goes up and down. It goes up and down. How many of you have seen it? We've all seen it, right? Amazing. That's fantastic. So, if we just look at our heartbeat, if it's wavering, even our life is not always going to be perfect, but we are going to have a bit of ups and downs. We are going to have to take detours here and there. Isn't it? Alright. So, I just want to start this session to give you a few steps that I have learned as a person and from journeying with kids like you on how you can reach self-awareness. Okay? So I want you to know this few steps. You can start writing if you have your books. You can write pause. Okay. Now I'll just start speaking about these points. Okay? The journey of self-awareness is not a one-time event. Okay? It doesn't happen today and then you continue your life. Okay? It happens, it is a continuous process. Every day you learn something new about yourself. Right? Today you're a good dancer, tomorrow you're a better singer, and maybe 1 week down the lane you're a good leader. Right? How many of you have seen changes in yourself over the last 6-7 months? You've become better people, right? I think all of us would have seen changes. So, has it been constant throughout? Has it been the same? No, right? Has it been the same? No. Okay. Let's start with the first point, that is pause. Okay, let's pause. Let's wait 10 seconds. Everyone stop doing whatever you're doing. Stop. Alright, okay, let's continue. In this 10 seconds, what was in your mind? Can somebody share? What was in your mind? Anybody would like to share? No? Okay, please tell me. Sorry?
Why the ants are fighting?
Oh, why the ants are fighting? He's quite an observant boy. So, in this 10 seconds, I saw that some of you were restless, some of you couldn't sit still for 10 seconds, some of you were silent, some of you were looking at your books, some of you were looking around. So, I want you to pause, okay? Before doing anything, you should always pause. Why do we pause? We need to stop so that we learn about ourselves, okay? It is when we are silent that we hear. It is when we are silent that we know what is happening around us, right? Currently, if we are silent, the loudest voice in this room is that fan. Isn't it? Can you hear it at the back? No? Okay. For me, it's the loudest voice at the moment. Okay? So we need to pause. We need to stop at times. Okay? We need to pause. We need to look at ourselves at the mirror. How many of you have mirrors in your house? All of us have. How many of you look at your mirrors every day? All right, that's wonderful. So when we pause, when we look at ourselves, we start to see certain things about ourselves. Okay? For example, when I pause, sometimes I say, oh, I didn't do this. I start remembering things. Okay? Sometimes when you pause, you start remembering things. You start saying, oh, I didn't do my maths homework. I didn't do my science homework. I didn't study today. I didn't do this. I didn't go to play. Right? If we are always occupied, what ends up happening is we forget things. Okay? So the first point to journey of self-awareness is to pause. You need to stop and you need to ask yourself, am I happy right now? Are you happy? Are you all happy? All right. So only when we pause do we understand what is happening inside of us. Are we happy? Are we sad? Are we angry? Or are we confused? Okay? So what's the first point? Pause. All right. And then the next one is to ask. Okay? The next one is to ask questions about yourself. Do you ask questions to yourself? Do you ask questions? What questions do you ask? Why am I so tall? Or why am I so short? Right? Or why didn't I do my maths homework? Do we ask such questions? We do ask such questions. So we need to ask ourselves, what is it that we want to do? We asked, are we happy? Who am I? Right? Didn't we ask these questions? Yes. So these questions will help us to further understand who we are as a person. Okay? And to discover yourself, you need to first accept yourself. Okay? There are certain things that we carry in our life that not everybody may like. Some things that we may also not like. For example, I have a few patches on my head which I am not very happy about. But I need to accept it. It's something that I need to accept at this point. Okay? It's something that I need to accept. And I use it as a story when I share to people like you. So, acceptance is what helps you understand who you are. Okay? Do you all accept yourselves? Yes? Are you sure? Okay. I have a question for all of you that you need to write in your books. What is something that you have not accepted about yourself? Okay, let's come back. How many of you know this person in the picture? Mother Teresa. You know, the story of Mother Teresa is that she was born with blue eyes. Look at your neighbor and try to find out what color eyes they have. Look around. Okay, done? Okay, come back. Okay? Okay, so Mother Teresa had blue eyes, okay? And she was different from everybody around us. She was different, okay? When she was a little girl, she felt different. Every day she would pray, Lord, I want to change the color of my eyes. But it never changed, okay? She grew up to accept that color. She grew up to accept the color of her eyes, okay? And once she grew up, she started accepting. She knew that there was a greater purpose to her. Okay? One day that she will be a big person. One day she will help a lot of people. And then she came down to India. She still had her blue eyes. She still had that unique characteristics of her, which helped her in a long way, because acceptance will teach you who you are and what you can do. Okay? Following me? Following me? Can we see thumbs up? Alright. Why do we ask questions? Tell me. To make ourselves better. We ask questions to learn more about something. Okay? To question is to learn. Okay? How many of you ask questions in your class? One of the biggest complaints for me, your teacher is looking. Nobody is asking questions. One of the biggest complaints my teacher had for me was that I never asked questions. Okay? Please ask questions. Please ask your teacher, ma'am, what is this? You can bring your hands down. You can ask your teachers questions, okay? Please ask. Only if you ask will you get, okay? If you don't ask, how will your teacher know that you don't know something, right? When you're hungry, you go to your mother, right? You say, Mom, I'm hungry, right? Isn't it? If you don't have a pencil, you ask your friend. You saw in the skit, right? She asked, can I have a pen? Right? You need to ask questions. You need to ask not just yourself, but you need to ask other people. Okay? Sometimes you need to ask your teacher, ma'am, am I really good at drawing? Sir, am I really good at sports? Okay? Don't just ask yourself, ask the people around you. Okay? Can we see people asking, can you start asking questions in school today? I will ask your teacher the next week, okay? See, another point for us to note is self-awareness grows with listening, not just yourself, but others. You don't just learn about yourself by listening to yourself, okay? You don't look at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, I look nice, okay? But sometimes your friend might need to come and tell you, hey, there's something on your face, right? Yeah. So sometimes, as people, because we look at ourselves so much, we forget certain things about us, okay? We don't realize certain parts of us. So that's where we need to listen to people around us, right? Sometimes our teachers tell us, you're being very naughty, you're being very cranky today, okay? How many of your teachers how many of you have got that comment? Yay, all the naughty boys are raising their hand. Good job. That is acceptance. Good job, kids. Okay. So don't just listen to yourself, listen to people around you. Okay? Our life is not just a single life. It is a life, it is a community project. It is all of us working together, right? In a classroom, you have a teacher, you have a class leader, you have so many other people who help you out, right? Isn't it? There are so many people. It is multiple people coming together to do one task, right? When a teacher is speaking, the students are listening. It happens two ways, right? If the students don't listen, it doesn't make sense. Okay? So listen to people around you. One of the stories that I can share about myself is how I became an artist. I never knew that I was good at art. I never knew that I was in this creative space. Until one of my friends and my teacher told me that you are really good at taking pictures. Why don't you study this? Okay? If I didn't listen to the people that time, I wouldn't be at this point. Okay? Sometimes we need to listen to our teachers. Sometimes we need to listen to our friends. The next step for us is to try. Okay? Now, you have paused, you have asked, and you listen. Okay? Next, you have to try. Now that you've heard that you're good at this, are you going to stop and be like, okay, I'm good at this. Let me not do this. Right? Once you know you're good at something, what do? You have to try. Okay? Try. You will not get it the first time. The first time may not be perfect, but you need to continue trying. You need to do it once, you need to do it twice, you need to do it 5 times, 10 times, and maybe 100 times to get perfect at it. Okay? So start trying. If you know you're good at singing, try. Okay? Tell your teacher, ma'am, I want to sing in class today. Or you tell your whoever is handling the assembly, I want to sing in the school choir. Right? Start trying. You need to try. How many of you have started trying? What are you trying? Sorry? Drawing. Okay. How many of you are into drawing? How many of you are into singing? Oh, few hands. How many of you play musical instruments? Good. Okay. This doesn't come from just listening, right? You have to try. You have to take a pencil, you have to start sketching. You have to open your mouth and start to sing. You need to use your fingers to play the instrument, right? That comes from trying. You need to try. You need to start doing something. Okay? Don't stop yourself because you do not know something. Okay? Start trying. You are all connected to the internet? No? Some of us are not. But if you are connected, you have resources like YouTube. If not, your school itself provides a lot of opportunities for you to learn. Come back to your school, tell your teachers, Ma'am, I want to learn this. Ma'am, I want to learn that. Okay? Try. You need to try to be able to do something. Okay? You either try or tie yourself. There is no in between. Okay? You are either doing something or you are not doing something. You are learning something or you are tying yourself. Okay? If you tie yourself, you will not be able to move, right? If your hands are tied, you will not be able to use your hands. If you need to use your hands, you need to try. You need to move. You have to break out of your comfort zone. So that brings my next point, that is, your comfort zone is your favorite space. It feels safe, but nothing grows. If you're comfortable wherever you are right now, you will not grow. You need to step out of your comfort zone. You need to start doing things that you are scared of. How many of you are scared to be on this stage? All of us. Most of us are scared. Even I was scared to be on this platform 6-7 years ago. But I had to face my fear. I had to come on stage. I had to start speaking. I had to start interacting. You know, when I used to get on stage, my hands would tremble like this. I'd be like, oh my God, I have to speak to people. But now I can speak confidently because I have tried it 150 times, many times. So break out of this thing called comfort zone, because this is the easiest place for you to be, and it is the only place that will not let you grow. Okay? No comfort zone. If you are in your comfortable zone, step out of it. Start facing your fear. If you're scared of cycling, take your cycle and start cycling. But be careful, wear a helmet. Okay? If you're scared of singing, start singing. Sing inside your room. Ask a couple of your friends to listen to you singing. If you're good at drawing, if you're scared of drawing, start drawing. Show your teacher, get inputs and all of that. Don't stick to your comfort zone. Once you try, you need to choose. Okay? You have stopped, you have asked, okay? You have listened to everybody around you. You have tried, okay? You have tried a few things. You have tried drawing, you have tried cooking, you have tried baking, you have tried singing, you have tried dancing. But now you need to choose, okay? You need to choose something. You need to choose that will help you for a longer time. Okay? Even ants have to choose which way to walk. Your life moves in the direction of your choices. Okay? Sometimes we need to make a choice. Okay? You need to make a choice of, I am going to focus on drawing or I am going to focus on singing. Okay? You need to make a choice. How many of you are confused to take a choice? Are you confused? It's okay. Everyone has it. Even I face it regularly. Even your teachers have this problem where they are scared to make a choice because it seems so difficult to make a choice. But go back to the first step. Pause. Stop. Look at yourself in the mirror. Ask questions. Listen to people around you. Try. Try once, twice, thrice, and then come back to taking a choice. Okay? Make a choice. You need to make a choice. Okay? To be self-aware is to choose something for yourself. Okay? Self-awareness comes from knowing about yourself. Self-awareness comes from listening to yourself. Self-awareness comes from pause. You stop and you look at yourself and you try to analyze. Once you made a choice, what do? You start to reflect. It is always good for us to reflect on the choices we made. Every year we get a report card, right? We get a report card? Yes? It gives you marks. It gives you 50 out of 50 in science or 50 out of 50 in mathematics. Okay? It is a report card of what you are doing in your academics. I failed in my school from 4th till 10th. I used to get 2 out of 100 in mathematics. Okay? So I will tell you that it is good to reflect. It is good to look at your report card. You need to look at your report card and know what you are bad at. Okay? And you need to go back and listen. Ask questions to your teachers. Ask for help. Okay? Why reflection is very important is it helps you to know if you have done the right thing or the wrong thing. Okay? When we put something on our face, let's say we put moisturizer, okay, or we put powder, we go to the mirror and look, right? We reflect on what is on our face. So sometimes we need to reflect on the choices that we have made in the past. We need to go back and see how we have written our exams, or how well we have done an art paper, how well we have sang, right? We need to reflect. We need to go back and look at what we did, so that it will help you to grow as a person. Don't just stop with doing, but always go back and reflect on what you do. And I have one thing to tell all of you is, do not wait for opportunities to come. You need to grab the opportunities that are around you. Okay? Start with what you have. Can you sing? Sing in front of your parents. If you can sing, sing in front of your school. If you can dance, do it in front of people that you are close to. Step out of your comfort zone. Don't wait for an opportunity to come, because you have to create your own opportunities. Okay? Is that good? Yes? All of us are sleeping? Oh, good. Yeah. So, don't wait for the perfect opportunity. At one point, I was waiting for the best camera gear for me to start making films. Not knowing I had the biggest equipment in my hand, that was my phone. Okay? Please don't wait for the best things to come. You need to start with what you have. Don't wait for the best color pencils. Start with what you have. If you start with what you have, once you get the bigger things, it's easier for you to use those tools. It'll be so quick for you to learn these tools. Okay? And finally, to close, always pause. Stop. Pause. Ask questions. Ask yourself, am I happy? Am I good at studies? Am I bad at this? Or am I good at something else? Listen. Listen to people around you. Listen to your teachers. Listen to yourself. Listen to people who are close to you. And then try. Try something new. If you are bad at mathematics, you have to try to do something. You shouldn't stop yourself by saying, I'm bad at mathematics, I'm not going to do it. Okay? That is something I regret today, is not studying mathematics and physics, because it's a part of my creative journey. Try. Even if you are terrible at it, try 100 times. I can assure you that one day you will be better at it. And the next is choice. Choose. Choose what works best for you. Choose what is right. Okay? Choose what you feel will help you grow. And reflect. Reflect on what you have done. Go back and see the choices you have made. If you have done the right thing, reflect. Go back and see. Did I do this correctly? Was my drawing good? Was my singing good? Okay? You reflect. Once this is done, this becomes a circle. Again, you continue, pause, ask, listen, try, choose, reflect. It becomes a circle of life. Again, going back to the first point, self-awareness doesn't happen in a single day. It is something that happens throughout our life. It doesn't happen in one day you're like, okay, I'm a scientist. Some of the scientists have worked for 40 to 50 years and then they've abandoned their research and gone into areas like music. There was a great musician who had composed some of the amazing classical songs. He stopped after 40 years and went into writing literature. So why did that happen? They had to go through this process of pause, ask, listen, try, choose and reflect. So now I'm just opening it up. Do you have any questions for me? Does anybody have questions?
Why do you say you're an ant?
Why do I say I'm an ant? Okay, so ant is very tiny, right? There are 8 billion people in this world and we are small. We're very small. Okay? I consider myself as an ant because that's the safest place we can be. We can be tiny, but if you see, an ant carries 10 to 50 times its actual weight. Okay? You can see an ant, but you can see something that's bigger than the ant that's on top of the ant, right? The same way, I consider myself as an ant because I'm small. I'm just one of 150 of you here. Okay? I'm just one person here. But what I carry would be 50 times bigger than me. The same applies to all of us. We are tiny people in this world, like we are like a bag of rice grains of rice. There are 8 billion of us, and each 8 billion person, all the people are collectively contributing to the betterment of society. We do not live, something that I want to add on is, the current generation, my generation speaks so much about self-care and self-love. You need to be self-reliant and all of that. You need to know that that is not true to a lot of sense. You cannot do everything by yourself. You need to ask for help. You need to ask your teachers for help. You need to go to people to learn certain things. You cannot learn everything on YouTube. YouTube is not going to teach you everything. It comes from experience, it comes from learning, it comes from experiencing, it comes from practicing multiple times. So, work as a community. Don't work as an individual, but work as a community. Because a community is what will help you grow, not yourself. You cannot grow by yourself. You grow when somebody else picks you up and you walk together. If I try to move this table by myself, I can move it at 3 seconds space. If there are 2 people to help me out, I can move this table from here to there in 2 seconds. Right? So don't always work by yourself, work together, help your friends out. Self-reflection doesn't come from knowing yourself, it comes from knowing others too. Thank you.